Toronto Police Chief Myron Demkiw continues to defend his stance on needing more money in the city's newest budget, saying what's been proposed amounts to a cut and will hurt the service. Mark McAllister sat down with the chief ahead of Mayor Olivia Chow's budget reveal tomorrow.
Why have you been calling it a cut to this point when it's still a proposed increase? When
I refer to what's been cut, it's the approved Police Service Board budget. That Police Service Board budget has moved up to the city, to city staff. We landed on the number that we did on December 19th with city staff. That was unanimously approved by the board, and then subsequent to that, or after that, city staff, made what I've been referring to as a cut to the approved Police Service Board budget.
There's a difference of $12.6 million. What kind of difference does that make in a budget that is ultimately $1.1 billion overall?
I think it's important to go back to where I started. Is we worked with city staff to get to the number of 20 million, and that 20 million represents my capacity as the chief to hire, to ensure that we're doing everything we can to try to meet adequate, effective service delivery. We know some of our core services are significantly degraded, and when an organization is 90% of our budget is people costs, that 12 million plus represents a significant compromising of my ability to continue to hire to an organization that's already struggling to meet demand.
You've also mentioned response times. Maybe just explain how the two correlate. What's the difference between hiring more officers and making sure the response times are where they should be?
Our police officers, we're focusing on all new hires to service our core services, being frontline policing. We're very focused on increasing our capacity at the front line, and our response to priority one calls on average right now is over 22 minutes. Important to recognize that 60% of the time when people call under these really dangerous situations, we have no units available. And when we have no units available, our response climbs to over 30 minutes. So we've gone through 10 years of budget constraints. 4 of the last 10 budgets had 0% increases. And if you really look at the impact over time, since 1999, this city has grown by 600,000 people. The Toronto Police Service has 37 more police officers.
At the same time, the last few years, there's been lots of discussion over diverting some of the funds into more community services and more social services.
The Auditor General of the City of Toronto commented on this very issue and did not see it as a lift and shift of resources. The Auditor General actually spoke to the need to invest in alternative service delivery. We have been committed in that space for many, many years.
Tomorrow we will hear from the mayor and see what she has to say before presenting something ultimately to City Council. If that money is not there, what do you end up having to do?
Well, I think, I would have to meet, obviously, with the command team and take a look at what our options are, given what I've identified as very significant risk. So while that had a ton of opportunity for cost avoidance over the years, it has now created a real issue as it relates to our ability to deliver services, and we'll have to look at what services we're cutting.